before I get into that, first of all, shout out to Aaron Rodgers, friend of the show. He's never been on this show, but I always had a sneaking suspicion that he might watch it. Brian Westbrook out here calling him the MVP when nobody else was. Brandon Marshall regularly saying he's the most talented player to ever play the position. And I would love to see the date stamps on these text messages, because methinks he sent this text a mere hours after Brandon Marshall made this very comparison, comparing him to the late Jerry Krause that helped break up prematurely the Bulls dynasty. So, Aaron, if you're watching, good morning. Now, to answer the question, I am not one. I know Coach says I'm always calling for guys to get fired. I'm not never calling for guys to get fired, but that is not my go-to. That's not my fastball. That's not the pitch I like to go to. But I'm not afraid to do it. In this instance, though, it is very, very simple. You, for reasons, if you're Mark Murphy, head of the Packers, for reasons that are somewhat out of your control, I suppose, seem to have to make a choice. And the choice is between one of, if not the, best in the world at what he does, and a guy who has had mixed results in his limited tenure as the general manager of your football team. That is not a decision. That is incredibly, incredibly easy. Now, do you wish it hadn't gotten here? I'm sure. Is it ideal? It's not. But if you have reason to believe that the way to fix things with Aaron Rodgers is to fire Brian Gutekunst, you can give him a very nice golden parachute on the way out. You can take care of him. But you got to tell him, buddy, you took a really big swing on Jordan Love. You didn't give Aaron a heads up about it. And not only did you swing and miss, you let the bat fly out of your hands and it concussed our mascot. You got to go. So I don't think it's that hard, and I don't think it's that unfair. And so, Coach, if it's a him or me situation, you have to pick Rodgers.
Well, if Aaron Rodgers is a friend of the show, he's probably not going to be happy with my opinion on this, because I don't think this is the time to move on at all. And his timing of requesting a trade is also very curious. He had all of last year. He had the entire offseason leading up to the draft to say how unhappy he was and try to get things fixed and to express that things were unfixable, but he doesn't. He starts talking when he realizes that a West Coast team might be interested in trading for him. And there is a tampering element to that, but the bar or the target keeps moving. You know, they talked about first he wanted guaranteed money, he wanted a new contract, and that didn't happen. And then it's the quarterback, and then it's the wide receiver. It feels to me like he saw that there was a realistic possibility for a trade for him and big enough numbers to actually make the team be interested for a West Coast team where he could go get a new contract. And that's when things started to become unfixable. And it doesn't add up. And I don't think at this point you're going to make a change.
Yeah, I don't know, Coach. I mean, if they're putting together group chats last year comparing, Brian Gutekunst to Jerry, come on, man. Like that's a big deal. And I just want to sit in Aaron Rodgers' seat right now. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't want this to happen. I'm already considered sensitive. I'm already considered a guy who have bad relationships, and relationships can go south. Why would I, demand, that this guy get fired, and now I got to deal with this for the next couple years, and this potentially being a big part of my legacy? If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm just saying, look, guys, enough's enough. I'm moving on, or you just got to swallow your pride and you go back there and you just ball out. Aaron Rodgers should not want this now that it's out. Now, if they were able, Wiles, to keep this quiet, all right, then no problem. No harm, no foul. Not all relationships work out. We don't all get along. And if I'm, in that organization, I had to choose between Aaron Rodgers and Brian Gutekunst, I'm choosing Aaron Rodgers. But now it's public, and now it's a big mess. And Aaron Rodgers, he's in a tough bind right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brandon. I think it plays out like Tom Brady, where you kind of begrudgingly slog through this year, and then you end up leaving for a warmer weather spot. Where that is going to be, I don't know. But, Nick, I want to push back on you a little bit about firing Gutekunst, because it feels like sort of the first domino to fall was Jordan Love, right? You drafted Jordan Love, and you can say it's defensible to try to plan for the future. That's part of the GM's job. But the really indefensible thing is you didn't call Aaron Rodgers, and he found out about it on draft day, and he started drinking tequila. So here's the weird thing. Tell me how this would play out. Okay, you're Mr. Murphy. You're like, Gutekunst, come on in, buddy. Gotta let you go. Why? The Jordan Love pick. You didn't call Aaron Rodgers. Oh, do you have Aaron Rodgers' phone number? Like, we were kind of like, did I do this totally in a vacuum? It feels like the person who would fire Brian Gutekunst is also complicit in the action that would lead to his firing.
Yes,
so I think that throws a whole wrench in the system. I don't know what you do. You want to fire everybody? Just Aaron Rodgers run the whole team?
Nope.
Go ahead.
No, listen, guys, there are fall guys in life. People lose jobs for unfair reasons. This is not a perfect, a perfect world where everything's fair and you get to, everyone gets what they deserve. Sometimes it's like, damn, I made a move that upset our most important employee. I did it with the consent of my boss, but I don't think he's going to fire himself. So, honey, might be time to start looking at other markets to live in. Like, Coach, I would imagine there have been times in your professional career where you ended up taking the blame for something that was not really your fault, or something you were told you had the right to do because someone with either more power, influence, or a higher rank in the organization was like, I don't want, somebody's got to be blamed. That happens sometimes. It's not right. I'm not saying it's right. But if there is a way to salvage the relationship with Aaron Rodgers, everyone agrees, I think, that Aaron Rodgers is more valuable to the Packers than Brian Gutekunst. So I'm not arguing that this is the perfect result. I'm arguing it is a result that if it keeps Aaron Rodgers, then you write him a great letter of recommendation. And behind the scenes, you tell other teams, guys, he did a great job. This sucks. Like, isn't that how football kind of works?
Yeah, well, first of all, Brandon, on the point that you made about texting, I'm sure that you clowned a lot of your coaches and GMs and text with players. That's kind of what's done. So that I don't think is anything unique. And in terms of fall guys, Nick, how many fall guys are in Green Bay? There's one fall guy who was the head coach who's now in Dallas. There is another fall guy, the previous GM that they fired to move this GM. How many fall guys are there? And it's a moving target. I'm unhappy with my contract. I'm unhappy with the draft pick. I'm unhappy with the personnel. They've said that he can have input on personnel. They said they would give him a contract extension. They drafted a quarterback. I understand that frustration element of it. But he was also that guy when Brett Favre was there, so he knows that's part of the business. Yes. It's not personal, and it's the way things work. And actually, it looks like a really smart move based off of where they are now. They knew that at some point they were going to be leveraged by Aaron Rodgers, so they bought an insurance policy, and it actually looks like having that insurance policy is probably going to be a good thing in the long term.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.